7:15 and maybe we'll conclude here. It's 7:04 now. We'll see. We don't want to miss the boat. That is why in the beginning, I wanted it to be a surprise for Nana, but when he said no, 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 and all that, I just left it. I was thinking, I was debating in my own mind. I was thinking, see, I'm becoming Rajasic over here. I just want the desire to be fulfilled. Let me settle down. Doesn't matter. If you're not all able to do it, we'll break it up. We'll do 10 minutes today, 10 minutes tomorrow. Why am I so hell-bent on, completing it today itself? Let Nana's session go on.
Yeah.
Then I felt that settling down. And it so beautifully happened. All of us were able to share, and it was a wonderful.
And Dr. Brahmana, what
that-
happened? I was supposed to talk last, but Nana took my name and I
Right.
jumped it.
Very good.
It was
You have
destined.
to set the ball rolling.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, and also Brahmara also, and he stayed throughout. Have you noticed one thing? As like throughout, he stayed on the video, listening to all of us, and actually, thanking all of us. That was very
I was
sweet.
only concerned because
Very nice.
Swamiji is coming home for dinner today. That's what Amma said.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't want him. I didn't want him to be held back because of us. But I
Yes,
think they still hadn't come back from the lecture, so that was fine.
that's good. That's good.
So that, yeah.
So
Jai Gurudev Brahmaraji,
yes, Sheila.
from the grace or from the whatever you call it, the manasthiti of yours when the Nana said no, I mean, he has some time restriction. I was just praying, oh God, this little one has organized so much. And all those who are not chanting, who are not ready for chant, they are coming. What about their thoughts? And same feeling, what you were feeling was, that was, I too was feeling that. And then, so I was just praying, let Nana settle for this.
You know what I thought was like, okay, if he didn't allow us, I mean, not allow us, like if he gave the importance. I mean, this is a lesson, every action he does, we learn the lesson, you don't want to go off the track, that's what it is. Like you want to stick with that.
Repeats.
But then I wanted to say the first thing, okay, let's all do it together and we record it and we'll post it to him. And so he will do it at his leisure time so that he's not like missing anything. So that was the thought I had, if we're going to do that. But again, there are so many lessons other than Gita we learn from him. Just observing.
I think every
all this. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying every moment there is some knowledge that comes, right? When that happened, I thought, accept people and situations as they are. Okay, it's okay. So what?
Exactly.
We got a chance to prepare something. That's good. That knowledge of that one shloka improved in our mind. That's the learning. That's it.
So see,
Exactly.
Kitaya in his
You didn't
own
make it
way.
upset. Yeah, that is what I meant to tell. Like sometimes you feel like, oh, you prepared all this and then you didn't think in that way. Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. This is where we are, and so that kind of steadiness is kind of there. So that's what I wanted to.
So Kitaya in his own magical way got us all to, got us all thinking about this little, I would say the situation in the beginning of the class. And each one of us had our own inputs and little introspection going on. And finally, he, out of that little chaos came such beauty and such flow of gratitude and knowledge and wisdom. And, we actually covered all. And thanks to Savita ji, she offered to chant Brahman and the Brahmajnana Vali. We missed that. We touched all the other texts that were covered. And thanks to her, she came forward and she said, I want to chant shlokas. That seems to have completed that.
Everybody's like
So,
very
Brahmana,
nicely, and that was nice.
Brahmara, did you record? Did you record when all of us were thanking Nana ji?
That was part of the
Oh,
recording.
Good. That's good.
So So we started from verse 26 today, isn't it? Mukta Sango Nahang Vadi Dhrityutsahasamanvitaha Siddhya Siddhyo Nirvikaraha Karta Satvika Uchyate. I think we finished this, isn't it? We did try, I think we started from 28. Anyway, the one who is free from attachment, who has no egotism, who is endowed with resolve and enthusiasm, and is unperturbed in success and failure, is called a Satvika doer. I think all of us went through this little up and down today at the beginning of the session. Ragi karma phala prepsuhu lubdha himsatmako shuchihi harsha shokanvitah karta rajasah parikirtitaha. The one who has a predominance of raga and a predominant desire for the result of action, who is greedy, whose nature is to hurt, who is not clean, and who is subject to elation and depression, is called a rajasa doer. At the beginning of the session today, I was in this mode where I wanted the desire to be fulfilled. I wanted Nana to give us those 20 minutes. But then it had settled down after that. Ayukta prakritastabdaha shato naishkriti kolasaha vishadi dirghasutri cha karta tamasa uchyate. The one who is disturbed, immature, irreverent, deceptive, cruel, lazy, given to sadness, and a procrastinator is called a tamasa doer. Buddhir bhedam triteshaiva gunatas trividham shrunu prochamanamasheshena kritakvena dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, O Dhananjaya, asheshena, completely, kritakvena, severally, prochamanan, being told, gunataha, according to guna, buddhehe, of the mind, dhritehe cha eva, and of the resolve, trividham, threefold, bhedam, difference, shrunu, please listen. O Dhananjaya, please listen to the threefold difference according to the guna of the mind and of the resolve that is being told completely and severally. So beautifully, Nana explained the term how Dhananjaya is brought out. No? What was that? The thing that Yudhishthira sends all his 4 brothers to? What is that yaga called? I forget that name.
Rajasuya Yaga.
Was it Rajasuya Yaga? So he sends.
That's a Sabha, in the Indraprastha, they're doing the Rajasuya Yaga, so he wants to bring a lot of wealth.
Right? So Arjuna goes to the north. And Sahadeva goes to the south. Sri Lanka.
Bhima goes east or something, east, and then
Nakula goes to the west. Yeah. And Sahadeva takes the help of Ghatotkacha, I think, to
send him to Sri Lanka.
And then he gets this wealth. And then Arjuna gets a lot of wealth. In fact, he gets the maximum amount of wealth. And that is why he's got the name Dhananjaya. So a lot of times in the 18th chapter, Bhagwan has said Shrunu, Shrunu, just listen, listen. So he's pay attention.
Lot of listening to do. That is the part anywhere you go, right? Listen to the person. When you listen.
Listening is such an important
aspect.
pravrittincha nivrittincha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha ya veti buddhi sa partha satviki. Partha, O Arjuna, ya buddhihi, that mind which pravrittincha, the pursuit of karma, nivrittincha, and renunciation, karya karye, what is to be done and what is not to be done, bhaya abhaye, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, bandham, mokshancha, and freedom, the bondage and freedom, veti, knows, sa buddhihi, that mind, satviki, is satviki. So the mind which knows the pursuit of karma and renunciation, that knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, and bondage and freedom, that mind is satviki. At least with confidence, we can say we at least have the satviki mind. We know what karma yoga is, what renunciation is, what is to be done, what is not to be done. But this what is to be feared, I don't really understand. What is not to be feared, yes.
So what to be feared is like when you said Nishiddha karma, that when you're trying to do something, the Nishiddha karma is something you shouldn't do, right? Like,
Yeah.
so that is to be fear. So if you do something like that causes the fear. That for that you'd be fear, you are afraid to do such Nishiddha karma, right? So that is what he was saying. And what is not to be feared is you don't have to be feared
yourself, Atma. You don't need to be
yourself and other. I think fear not to be feared for anything.
Yeah.
Feared is that things that you shouldn't, the wrong action.
I wanted to ask him here, I think in chapter 3 we read, was it? Where he says you're beyond dharma and adharma, right and wrong. So maybe we ask him that question there. Get some
Question
clarity.
about the
we are above that. No, the sannyasi or the jnani is above all of that. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyameva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhissa partha rajasi. Partha, O Arjuna, yaya buddhya, the mind with which dharmam adharmam cha, dharma and adharma, karyam cha akaryam eva cha, what is to be done and what is not to be done, ayathavat, wrongly, prajanati, knows, sa buddhihi, that mind, rajasi, is rajasi. That mind with which one wrongly knows what is proper and improper, what is to be done and what is not to be done, Arjuna, is rajasi. So careful we should be. No wonder Bhagwan is saying Shrunu, listen, because we need to know exactly whether what we're doing is what we're following and what we're doing is the right thing. Otherwise, it can be, the mind can take us on a delusory trip. What is proper and improper, what is to be done, what is not to be done.
So here it says the mind with which one wrongly knows. So which means the mind has those impurities. That's why we make those wrong choices.
Correct.
So we have to first find out what is it that, what concepts we have got wrong.
Yeah. It might seem very simple for us to just follow dharma, but then that is why it is said, be spontaneous. When you're spontaneous, you're more in line with dharma, isn't it? When you bring in the mind, thinking mind, then all the kalusha happens, all the impurities come in. It is all, you then start seeing things with the filter of your raga and dvesha.
Yes.
It's not a very great example, but then I'm just sharing. Supposing someone next to you is like, say, is throwing up, and you are one who, it's not a very nice thing, right? Throwing up and the smell and all that. But what would you spontaneously do? What is the first thing that you would want to spontaneously do? Is help that person. You may want to just put up your hand so that I'm just extending the example. Supposing it's in a puja or some place where it is very devout, and you don't want that vomitus to go down on the floor. What you would normally do is just put up your hands and then hold it there so you can take it away. But then that will be a spontaneous action. But if you allow your mind to set in, you say, oh, I don't like this. Why should I do this? And then it may not be the most appropriate example, but I'm just giving this as wrongly, what is proper, improper. So basically, being spontaneous in our actions will be more in line with being sattvic, more in line with dharma. The moment you get the mind to work in, it will become an action which is directed by your raga and dvesha.
Then what about fear, which is a spontaneous reaction? Spontaneously it comes up. And then you apply your raga dvesha there.
See, the fear, as we have learned, comes when you have the other, when you have the feeling of the other. When that separateness is there, you have the fear, isn't it?
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that. Yes, right. You're right.
But otherwise, see, a jnani is fearless. A jnani has the samatva bhavana. He has adveshta sarvabhutana. He does not hate anyone and he doesn't fear anyone, because he does not see anyone separate from himself. So there is no question of fear for him. As long as we're still on the path and we still see ourselves separate from others, then yes, you will get the fear. There will be that fear. Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate tamasavrita sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhissa partha tamasi. Partha, O Arjuna, ya buddhihi, that mind which tamasa avrita, being covered with ignorance, adharmam, adharma, dharmamiti, as dharma, sarva arthancha, and all things viparitan, as opposed to what they actually are, manyate, considers, sa buddhihi, that mind, tamasi is tamasi. The mind, which covered with ignorance, considers what is improper as proper, and all things the reverse of what they are. That mind, O Arjuna, is tamasi. This is like Duryodhana is an personification of this, no? Although he says, what is that? I know dharma, but I'm not able to follow it. I know what is adharma, but I'm not able to come out of it. There is a verse for that. Dharmam janati nachame pravrittihi. Adharmam Janami nachame nivrittihi. I think that is, I'm not getting the first few lines, but that is what it is. He confesses. He says, I know what dharma is, but I'm not able to follow it. And I know what adharma is, but I'm not able to come out of it. But here I'm reminded of what Nana said in answer to the question of how, each action of us, we can classify as either sattva, rajas, tamas, but throughout the day, in order to be sattvic, that is our attempt. And for that, he had given this beautiful stanza from, I think, chapter 13 or so, 14, I guess, where when your sattva guna is reigning uppermost, the rajas and tamas take a back seat. Similarly, when the rajas is reigning, sattva and tamas are subdued. And when tamas takes over, the other two are subdued. So this gives us a hint that the more and more sattvic we are, and the more aware we are of our mind, of our actions, then we will slowly be able to scale up, subdue the tamas and the rajas, and stay more in the sattva more and more. And then that will be the first step. And then from there, even that has to establish. That Nischala Tattva has to come. And then from that Nischala Tattva, Jivan Mukti happens. Yeah. I think Nana stopped here, isn't it? I think he didn't go to Dhriti. Yeah. Anyone wants to share? I think today we will not have time to go to chapter 3.
Jai Gurudev, knowingly, unknowingly, we follow that Shrunu word. Whenever we want to take attention what we have to say, we say, Suno, listen.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jai Gurudev.
But that listen is such a beautiful thing. If you're actually able to listen, are we listening, or is the mind doing 100 different things at the same time? No. Even for us in the Zoom class, I mean, this happens to me and therefore I'm sharing. When Nana is sharing, I honestly confess, I am distracted sometimes by the phone. And of course, there are times when someone gets unmuted, so I have to mute them. So I log into my phone and then, kind of mute the other person. That is a part, that is different. But there are times when I'm distracted by the messages. So I think that is where I have to fine tune myself, where when I'm listening, it has to be rapt attention. Only then will that knowledge actually seep in. Otherwise, even once you lose that thread of that beautiful knowledge that's coming out, you have lost it. So even when we are listening, like how Krishna listened to Arjuna completely in the first chapter, in the beginning of the second chapter, he was just listening to him. More than that was Bhagavan listening. That is different. But we as students, when we're listening, I think we have to give that, be 100% in that moment and not get distracted. Then we will derive, and you notice when we are doing it 100%, when we're, of course, we're some of us are teachers here, we all know that when you're doing anything 100%, there is that joy that comes in, just that joy of being in the moment. Even when we're chanting, when you're just chanting, with that devotion and that thing, the whole chant itself is very joyful. Yeah. Does anybody else want to share anything?
Yeah, that is what happened when the session was going on. I was about to drop, but then I said, listening, and this opportunity will never come to me again. Of course, in my life, okay. Let me clear it. So let this opportunity have. That's good. That is, I think that is called in present moment. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It's
The
more
present moment
dhriti.
is inevitable, right?
Right.
What has to happen will happen.
Right.
That one thing I wanted to tell you, I know that short of time I didn't go into that tapobi, that
Right.
atmapod. Maybe not right now, maybe another day, like when we have time, we can go
Why
over
not?
it.
Why not? You please share. Tomorrow you
Yeah.
can share.
Yeah, I mean, I really planned it in a different way, but I also want to, I'm not pointing it out, it just for the sake of completion on Tattvabodh. The one I mentioned is called Anubandha Sadhishchaya. That just tells you how the text is usually structured in every text, those days. I mean, it's amazing how, like Sumaji put it, like how our ancestors put all this tapas and hard work. And for us to learn this, I mean, we are fortunate, and at least we are able to understand it mainly. But anyway, the other one is that sadhana sadhishayam is that that four things that we talk about, right? Viveka, Vairagya, and Sat Sambati.
Mumukshut.
And then what is the last one is
Mumukshutvam.
Mumukshut. Yeah, Mumukshva. That anyway, that's what I wanted to quickly tell you. I mean, what is tapas? I basically wanted to just say what the meaning of each and every word of it, like, I mean, what we should think, what is papa means for us, what, so I especially, I know you had a chance to listen to this Swami Tattvananda
Tattvavidananda.
Ji's lecture also. He the way he, when you try to write down what he said, it's almost 2 hours lecture on that first sloka.
Oh.
About 10-15 pages you have to, some of us, they say to understand it, you write it down, you take notes, and then
Right.
I did one of that. It was like 12 pages came. And I don't
You know what, Dr. Mara, I know for want of time, we did not do that, but I would really want you to share the takeaways from the first chapter of Atmabodh. Why don't you do that tomorrow? In fact, I'm suggesting this is what Nana had actually asked us to do before. We did it for 3 days and we dropped it out. I think each day, maybe in the group, we can mention that who's doing what. We can have a little, slot that. Why don't you do the Tapobik Shina Papanam tomorrow? And then one other person does another the next day. So we can pick up any chapter. Supposing you're doing your own Swadhyaya at home, you're reading whatever text, and you something really catches your attention, and you want to share. See, today's sharing, more than gratitude and wishing Nana.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that I understood. The only reason I brought it was to see how Nana feels, how much we understood, like, are we on right path? To give a glimpse of it.
Was shared also, like you very rightly pointed out, Dr. Mara, is it was a different perspective. That same shloka, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchid, that Bhagirata Prayatnam, the way she brought it out, it struck a different chord for me. As,
Right.
this such beautiful knowledge like Ganga that is being brought down and handed over to us. It is our responsibility not only to study it properly, but also hand it down. So
Yeah.
it was beautiful. So I think when everybody shares, no,
Shared, yeah, exactly. I really loved every one of
Yeah.
us sharing. We had different perspective,
Correct.
even though it was all towards this Atma, Jnanam and whatnot. But everybody had a different viewpoint, and that was really collectively great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would like to listen to that video again and see,
Yeah.
go over that.
Nice. But tomorrow, why don't you take up this Tapobik Shina Papa now? We'll tell Nana.
That's
I will
in
put
Manana
together-
class.
Not in the
Yeah.
Manana class, in the main
Yeah.
class. I'll message Nana and find out where he
No,
wants to put
it's
it.
okay. I think he wants to do this 18th chapter now, so we don't want any
No,
interruption
just one shloka per day. That's it.
per day. Okay.
Each one person, not the whole thing. So one person a day can share,
Yeah.
and it will be a good exercise. for all
Yeah,
of us.
we'll check with them and see if it's okay
I'll
with
check
him.
and I'll come
Otherwise,
back.
it's okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Very good. So let's conclude here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank
Hari
you,
Om.
Dev. Hari
Jai
Om.
Akka.
Thank
Jai
you.
Gurudev.
Thank